Welcome to today's Explainer. Let's dive right in, because today we're tackling a high-stakes mystery in the off-grid and solar engineering world. We're looking at perfectly good, top-of-the-line solar arrays that seem entirely healthy, but then, seemingly out of absolutely nowhere, completely destroy their charge controllers. Look, series wiring is a fantastic way to improve your solar performance, but it definitely has a dark side. If you ignore one critical number, just one, your equipment can literally be ruined in seconds.
I want you to imagine a scenario with me for a second. You wire up your brand new panels. Your charging performance is fantastic. The whole system is purring along perfectly all through the hot summer. The batteries are charging up, everything looks completely normal on your readouts, and you're thrilled with your setup. But then, months later, on a crisp, freezing winter morning, the system just suddenly fails. The charge controller is dead. So why on earth would a perfectly healthy controller wait months to suddenly just give up the ghost? When this kind of delayed failure happens, what do people usually blame? Well, owners immediately assume they bought a defective unit that finally gave out. Or they think, maybe a wire just wiggled loose over time. Or maybe there's a bad connection at the battery terminals. But guess what? The true culprit is almost never a manufacturing defect or a loose cable. The real assassin here is completely invisible, hidden deep within the system's fundamental design calculations. Section 1. The Hidden Solar Killer.
Listen to this. The controller does not care what voltage the panels usually produce. It cares about the highest voltage they can ever produce. That right there is the single most important concept we're going to cover today. If you grasp this one distinction, the crucial difference between your everyday operating voltage and the absolute maximum potential voltage, you are going to prevent some incredibly expensive hardware mistakes.
So the first thing we've got to do is debunk what I like to call the indestructible MPPT myth. A lot of folks starting out think an MPPT controller is some sort of magical gatekeeper that will just automatically block or limit any excess voltage you throw its way. But that is completely false. An MPPT controller can only regulate voltage within the physical limits of its design. If the array voltage goes past that physical hardware rating, the internal components experience extreme electrical stress. Permanent damage happens before the protection circuitry can even attempt to do its job. You're basically hooking up a device built for one voltage range to a much higher source, and you just can't bypass physics. Section 2. Vamp versus Voc explained.
This right here is exactly where the mix-up happens. VMP, or maximum power voltage, is the voltage a panel typically operates at while actually producing power. It is super useful for calculating your charging power and efficiency. But VOC, or open circuit voltage, is measured when the panel is not delivering current at all. VOC is strictly for controller survival calculations. Time and time again, installers calculate their operating voltage using VMP, think they're totally golden, and completely ignore the VOC. So if VOC is the maximum voltage the panels can produce, we have to match that up against the controller's absolute limit. And that brings us to the maximum PV input voltage. This is the absolute maximum array voltage a charge controller's internal components can survive without getting permanently damaged. People get so obsessed with checking their battery voltage and charging current, and they completely brush past the specification. But realistically, this is often the most important rating on the entire unit. Let's look at a number you'll commonly see on controllers, like 150 volts, or maybe yours says 50, 75, or 100 volts. Whatever number the manufacturer stamps on that box, that is a hard, physical brick wall. It is not a gentle suggestion. It's not a guideline. It is the absolute ceiling. If your panel's combined VOC hits 151 volts on a 150-volt controller, you are in the danger zone, and permanent damage is basically guaranteed. Never, ever assume you have wiggle room here.
Now, how do we accidentally slam into that dangerous ceiling? It comes down to wiring. When you wire panels in parallel, the current increases, but the voltage stays roughly the same. Pretty straightforward. But series wiring? When you wire panels in series, you're connecting them positive to negative, end to end. The current stays the same, but the voltages of every single panel add together. Panel A's Voc plus panel B's Voc plus panel C's Voc. Every single panel you add incrementally pushes your whole system closer and closer to that hardware limit we just talked about. Section 3. The Cold Weather Trap. This next concept is simple, but it is absolutely devastating. Solar panel voltage actually increases as the cell temperature decreases. That's just a fundamental law of how solar cells work. So, a solar array that seems totally safe and well within limits on a blazing hot summer afternoon can easily blow right past your controller's voltage limits on a freezing winter day. The colder those cells get, the higher that Voc number climbs.
So, when exactly is the moment of maximum danger? It is a very specific, perfect storm. Picture this. It's the dead of winter. Temperatures have dropped to their absolute lowest. The batteries have been sitting overnight, so they aren't pulling a heavy load from the array yet. And then, the sun first peaks over the horizon, hitting those freezing cold panels. Boom. That winter sunrise event produces a massive, lethal open-circuit voltage spike. If you only use standard numbers from a warm day for your math, that cold morning spike is going to push your total series voltage right past the controller's limit. Section 4, Dangerous Series Wiring Mistakes. Let's talk about the major traps where people really get this wrong. We've talked about using Vmp instead of Voc and ignoring those controller ratings. We know failing to leave a cold weather buffer destroys systems. But what about upgrades? This happens all the time. Someone has a great working system, and they decide to add just one more panel to the series string to speed up charging. They assume it's totally safe because, hey, the system already works, right? But without recalculating the new total Voc, that upgrade is a massive gamble. Another huge mistake? Copying wiring diagrams off the internet. A setup that works perfectly safely for one specific controller might completely fry your model if it has a lower voltage limit. So, what if you've already made an upgrade and you're worried? Watch for the warning signs. If your controller starts throwing repeated overvoltage alarms, randomly disconnecting, or suddenly acting up right after you add a panel, do not just assume the unit is glitching or broken. You need to immediately investigate your array voltage. That controller is literally screaming at you that it's experiencing electrical stress beyond its safe operating range. Section 5, 4 Steps to Safety. Okay, here is your simple, foolproof engineering process to make sure this never happens to you. Step 1. Look at the sticker right on the back of your panel and find the exact VOC specification. Step 2. If you're wiring in series, add up the VOC values of every single panel in that string. Step 3. Find your charge controller's maximum PV input rating and compare your total to that ceiling. And Step 4. This is the absolute lifesaver. Add a generous safety margin to account for those freezing cold winter mornings. You have to ensure your total calculated voltage plus that cold weather buffer stays well under the controller's limit. This math literally takes a few minutes, but it 100% guarantees your equipment survives.
Which brings us to our final and frankly most critical question. Is your system really safe for winter? Knowing what you know now about open circuit voltage, that sneaky cold weather trap, and how series wiring stacks all those numbers up, can you say for sure that your controller is going to survive the next freezing sunrise? Do not wait to find out the hard way. Go check your component specifications and verify your math today. It really is the difference between an installation that runs flawlessly for a decade and one that just goes up in smoke unexpectedly. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay safe out there and never stop verifying those numbers.